Much of the world has been extensively mapped at this point by satellite imagery and other modern instruments, but many secrets still lie in the most remote and inaccessible parts of the world. A team of archaeologists have discovered a long-lost ancient Maya city with no previous record, about 60 kilometers further in the dense Yucatan Peninsula jungles of southern Mexico. They named the new city Acantun, meaning stone pillar. The vast area contains plazas, great pyramid-style buildings, stone pillars, and other structures arranged in concentric rings. Of course, most of the city has been lost in time. Archaeologists say the stone pillars may actually have been the entrance to the upstairs rooms. Prior to the fieldwork by the researchers, overhead LIDAR scans were performed throughout the area. The technology uses reflections of laser beams to detect buildings that are not normally visible to trees and bushes. The biggest surprise was the site, located on a high peninsula surrounded by large wetlands, says archaeologist and team leader Ivan Spraj from the Slovenian Academy of Sciences and Arts. The monumental core covers more than 50 hectares, and there are several large buildings, including several pyramidal structures 15 meters high. These tropical forests are huge in size. This part of the world has about 3,000 square kilometers of uninhabited forest, and to this day little is known about what it hides. One reason is that its leaves are very dense. According to Sprajk and his colleagues, the city would become an important local center for Maya civilization between 250 and 1000 AD, known as the Classical period. For centuries, the Maya people were the dominant civilization in Mesoamerica, what is now Central America and the southernmost part of North America. The Mayans are known for their advances in architecture, culture, calendar systems, mathematics, and more. The Mayan civilization suffered a major collapse in the 9th century AD, which is thought to have been caused by a combination of civil war, drought, and other environmental factors. However, it was until the 17th century that the last Maya city fell into the hands of Spanish invaders. Thanks to systems like LIDAR, we are discovering more and more of the settlements left behind by the Mayans. Buildings in these settlements required a lot of expertise and a lot of manual labor. The ancient Maya artifacts are truly incredible. Mayans are truly incredibly talented in art and construction. Now let's take a look at the 5 most important artifacts of the ancient Mayan civilization. 1. Madrid Codex. Much of what we know about pre-Columbian Maya culture comes from the few surviving books. These are Madrid, Dresden, Mexico, and Paris manuscripts. The Mayans recorded their calendar, rituals such as human sacrifice, and details of other celebrations, myths, and daily activities such as beekeeping in these codexes. These codices were usually written on some type of paper made from hammered bark. There used to be many more of these manuscripts, but Spanish priests burned many of them during the Inquisition, making the few surviving even more important. The Madrid Codex is slightly longer than the Dresden and Paris Codex and was probably written just before or around the time of the Spanish arrival in the Mayan region on the Yucatan Peninsula. 2. The Golden Mask at Chichen Itza. Chichen Itza is one of the more famous Mayan ruins, partly due to the huge sinkhole sitting behind it. The freshwater sinkhole, one of many seen all over the Yucatan Peninsula, was used by people in Chichen Itza to make human sacrifices and offer offerings to the gods. Archaeologists scanning the cenote there in the 1930s discovered gold ornaments that essentially formed a 3-part mask, 2 eyes, and a mouth. The eyes are adorned with a feathered serpent called Quetzalcoatl in Nahuatl or Cuculcan in Yucatec. The creature is one of the main deities of Chichen Itza. The mask style, including embossed gold, is more unique to the Pacific coast regions of Costa Rica and Panama than to the Yucatan Peninsula. Researchers say the artifact probably came from that region. In particular, the spectacle-like appearance of the eyes is emblematic of Tlaloc, the central Mexican god of rain. This iconography is consistent with Chichen Itza at the end of the Classical period and in the post-Classical period, when the central Mexican version of the rain god began to replace Chalk, the Mayan version. The mask image, which was probably made in the post-Classic period, became so popular that you can find it on t-shirts and souvenir stands today. Besides the beauty of the piece, the mask is important because it also reveals the extent of the trade network of which Chichen Itza is a part, stretching up and down the Caribbean and Pacific coasts. 3. Resurrection Plate. A highly detailed plate depicts the resurrection of the Egyptian god Hunhanapu by his sons Expelank and Hedapu. These are well-known themes featured in the Popol Vuh, a sacred Mayan religious book. The story is about Hunahpu and his brother being tricked by the Lord of the Underworld and sacrificed by beheading after losing a ball game. But Hunahpu's twin heroic sons Expelank and Hedapu come down and defeat the lords of the underworld in the game. The twins, who were later resurrected as Sun and Moon, are depicted on either side of Hunahpu on the ornate plate that apparently helped resurrect him. A tortoise shell symbolizes the earth, and Hunahpu's decapitated head also sprouting corn. Unfortunately, we don't know exactly where the plate came from, as it has no archaeological context. However, the style of the depiction is called the Codex style, a type of pottery very unique to the northern Petén region in Guatemala. The plate was probably produced in the Tikal or Calakmul region. It now resides in the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston. 4. Tikal Marcador. This object is definitely the largest on the list. measuring 2.5 to 3 feet high. The stone monument was displayed at an altar at Tikal, a Maya capital during the classical period, possibly spanning 200 to 900 AD. The monument is basically a column with a stylized banner depicting leaves on it. It is probably a carved stone version of the stick and leaf banners common in Teotihuacan, then a major city in central Mexico, not Tikal. The inscription surrounding the column speaks of the relationship between Tikal and Teotihuacan. Still, researchers who study the Maya disagree about the precise nature of this relationship. Did Teotihuacan conquer Tikal, or was it just an alliance? The disc has two names, Spear-thrower Owl and Tlaloc, the Teotihuacan god of rain. The hieroglyphs on the cylinder speak of the spear-thrower owl and the arrival of Cihej-Caoc in Tikal in the 4th century AD. Cihej-Caoc is important because it continues to establish a new dynasty in Tikal, which may or may not be a result of the takeover from Teotihuacan. Researchers say the spear-thrower owl is uncertain, but may have come from Teotihuacan. 5. Rio Azul Chocolate Mug. This rare vessel was found in the tomb of the king of Rio Azul, dating to the late 5th century AD. Rio Azul was an important Maya city located in northern Guatemala in the classical period, close to the borders of Belize and Mexico. Archaeologists found remains of chocolate on the inside of the container, which contains a unique screw cap. Its hieroglyphs also note that the cup was used for chocolate. When archaeologists first discovered this vessel in 1990, it sparked an entire movement among the ancient Mayans that studied relics and the use of chocolate. This research revealed that chocolate is mostly consumed by the elite, as cocoa can only be grown in a few selected regions in Mesoamerica. Cocoa beans were also used as a currency. It was a time when you could literally drink your money and money grew on trees, the researchers say. Vessels like this are emblematic of the elite court culture of the early classical period. Yes, we have come to the end of our video about ancient Mayans. Personally, what I'm curious about is what the Mayans wrote about space and aliens. But as I mentioned earlier, most of the Mayan artifacts were burned. Do not forget to write in the comments what you wonder about the Mayans. Don't forget to like and subscribe for science and technology news and other science fiction documentaries. Bye.